Hello, everybody. Hello. I almost didn't look and pay attention. I've been doing research this morning, assisting Joe with some more detective work. So I'm here now. Oh, hang on a second. Let's get that off. Very good. Very good. Let me see. I better say hello to everybody. I see Enzo's lurking. Jennifer. Hello, Jennifer. Tanya. Not long now, Tanya. Only a few weeks till we go and catch up, which I'm looking forward to. Who else? Who else is here? Oh, hello, Caroline. Caroline and Betty. Hi, Betty. Cheryl, Julie. I just saw your message, Julie. What's that? Hi, everyone. I'll be back in a bit. Have to brush. For a second there, I thought, oh, you'll be back in a minute when you get your teeth in. The things my eyes see that don't exist. All right, who else is here? Northside Hawk, hello. It's cold down in Victoria today, I think, from what I've been told. Victoria, Australia, guys. That's where Northside Hawk is from. Dr. Deb, Firefly Kelly, Kathy Evans, Dee. Gosh, there's a few of you in today. You must all be bored. Natu, hello. Yeah, I just thought, since last weekend with everything that happened, and is still going on in America, and then there was some stuff happened in England that's, just news-wise, it's kind of like a real Debbie Downer, like, so it's been a bit of a wacky week, and I thought, you know what, if I'm having a wacky week, not because of that, like other stuff for me, I've been running backwards and forwards to specialists and doctors and blah, and I thought, I know that a lot of you are going through the same sort of crap. So I thought we all need to have a bit of a giggle, and we'll get a good giggle tomorrow with Enzo. I'll let him rest now. He doesn't have to come on here and say hello. I can talk, can't I, Enzo? But yeah, I just thought it might be an opportunity for any of you guys to say anything in the chat that you might want to let everybody know is happening with you and get a little bit of support from us all, because this community really is a really great community. And when I'm feeling down, I've told you 100 times before, if I feel a bit down or things just seem like they're getting a little bit on top of me, sometimes I think, I don't really feel like going live because I'm that flat. But then the minute I get on, beautiful. Once everybody starts talking, what, you want to come on, Enzo? Oh, okay. I guess we could put up with your face today. I love you, Enzo. Let's have a look. Just a second. But I just thought let's all just talk crap today and laugh a little bit and try and forget our worries. And there you go. I think that's it, Enzo. I've sent it to you. But yeah, hi, Steph. Does that make sense? I think I make sense. It's just, it's been, Betty. That is so cool. Hang on, here's Enzo. Hello, Enzo. Betty's just saying, I've asked Betty, as you know, since the passing of her husband, to let me know if anything strange happens. And look, she smelled his husband. Yep. I reckon he's keeping an eye on you. I don't know how they do it, Betty. I don't know how they do it. But I really, really, believe that. How are you coping anyway, Betty? What was I going to say? Yes, so there you go. I wanted, Enzo, I did want to discuss all of that. I'm not going to, though, because then people get political. I don't want to talk politics. But I've got a detective brain, and everything that's coming up in regard to that incident last Saturday is like, holy crap.
Yeah, there's some strange things unfolding there.
But I guess I can say the clues, because it's not about politics, it's about who did the who done it. And still who done it. But crikey, it's kind of like they've got that funny lady that was behind him when the bullet went, and she starts recording straight away. She's an FBI. They've named her. She's the
Yes.
like, what the
It's like
hell?
one of the like second in command kind of level of the
Yeah, she's sitting there. She looks up to where the so-called shit, and there's footage of the water tower, and they're going, "There's someone on. There is someone on the water tower, right on the top
I
of
don't
the water
know.
tower."
I don't know about that one. It's so blurry. It could be anything, but
Well, it could be a very big black bird then. But I'm like, yeah, it was a bit blurry, but I'm like, bloody hell. And I'm like, yeah, so it's going to be such a, yeah, I don't think it's no conspiracy. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not listening to what they are conspiring to. I'm listening to the clues. So I'm looking at the clues. I'm only looking at it in that way. I'm not, some people are going, oh, it was this did it and that did it. No, 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 no. I'm just looking at the clues. And so far, the clues in regard to the boy, that's really odd. I've still got to find it, but I saw a picture of the boy, the one that they killed, with some director of that thing he was in an ad for, the one that can get all the, and he's got his arm on him like that. I don't know where they were, maybe a practice range, but he's got his arm on the shoulder of that young boy holding a rifle. What the hell?
it sounds familiar from another attempt a while back. Picture with the guy holding a rifle. Does he have a
Yeah,
newspaper in the other hand too? It's
yeah. And I'm like, wow. So I think the good thing is that detectives or whoever's investigating it is
oh no.
so
This is pure autists
FBI.
on the internet digging all of this stuff up, saying, well, what about this? Well, what about that? Well, what about this?
So they won't be. So it's kind of an exciting story. And like I say, nothing to do, don't care about. I don't care about the politics. I'm just, what a mystery, except it's sort of like on the face of it, it's not a mystery. On the face of it, it's pretty evident that something went down and something was a
Right.
bit fishy. You can't have your FBI sharpshooters on a sloping sloping roof
That
because
was
it's
the
workplace.
dumbest thing. I don't know how that person still has a job at this
I
point.
just
Honest, it's
well, I don't know, but I'm just like, oh my god, what? So yeah, it's very. But when that other thing that they put together with the timeline, so from when someone did a good job, put four little things. So from when
like
someone
a
saw
2 minute
him,
long video.
yeah,
It's
someone
like
said he's
that's a
trying.
lot of time. That's a
Yeah,
lot of time seeing this person
that's it.
running around and
Hey,
all that.
hey, and they were calling the police. You can hear him talking to the he's trying
Yeah,
he's climbing up the roof. Now he's on the roof. I think it was 2 minutes, 3 seconds from when everyone shouted, "Hey!" That's a long time. That's a long
all
time.
past week, my timeline on Twitter has been that video or the flag got twisted up and it looks like an angel
Oh, yeah,
video.
yeah, well, that's even I'm like, "Yeah, righto." But yeah, it's a thrilling mystery, and let's hope we get the answers unlike the JFK one. Although I think
'Cause
we all know
well,
there.
the thing, I mean, back in, for the JFK one, uh, we didn't have the internet, or we didn't have hundreds of people all
Film
with filming like this in high definition from all possible angles, where now everybody is reviewing that stuff and it's all coming out instantly on the internet as soon as they find something. Even if it's nothing, it's just like, wow, this looks a little curious, and stuff that people find interesting gets a little clout, and it gets built up and passed around, and other stuff kind of gets pushed away, which is kind of how it should work. But imagine if we did back in those days.
Oh,
it would look like
yeah.
this. It would just be everybody going, "What is this?" There's no hiding
Well,
anything.
I've got my friend is covering this on his channel, Lewis Lecker on the Nerd Report, right? He actually played. I haven't looked yet because I didn't see the. I haven't seen the video in question that Lewis was playing, but I think it was something to do with people's, like it was someone's film, like "Look, there he is," something like that.
Right.
Lewis got his channel a proper strike against his channel. Could have been. It was said it was copyright strike, and that his channel was on probation now. And I'm like, what the hell? And he said then when they went to see who had struck them, it was some really weird place. He said all he can assume is that people are now selling their footage to this place. But to get you, like, I've had copyright strikes. I got one for Super Chicken. Would you believe it? I've had a copyright, claim. And that's generally why a strike, I wonder, straight immediately. And there's a few other people I know too that are getting their stuff, like getting told you can't report
especially for here on YouTube. I know, everybody uses and all that stuff. It is certainly not an equal platform for everybody.
No.
Some people can spend their entire show talking about this topic and showing all the videos we were just saying, and they get away with it clean, scot-free. And other people are just, like we haven't shown anything, videos or pictures or anything. We're talking about it. So we should be okay.
Yeah, we should be okay.
As long as we're not going like that next step saying, well, I think it was this person and that person did it. Yeah. You can't go that far.
No, and who knows? Like, we know the young boy did. He was only 20, and everybody knows that when you're 20, you're a bloody idiot most of the time. You don't learn to be an adult until much later. However, he still did it, which makes him unhinged or coerced. This will be a good thing. But there is footage out there of the young bloke yelling out silly things. Like he was obviously stressed. I don't know. But either way, we know who apparently pulled the trigger. So that's it's just how the F did, like, they said there was, on the day, there were some issues with talking to each other. And I'm like, really? That's convenient? So you've got people screeching out. It's really things like that. So unless, unfortunately, the Secret Service in America now is so undermanned, which that's what they're also saying, they don't have enough Secret Service agents. I noticed the ladies who've been left Mr. Trump's, President Trump's, he's surrounded by 6-foot-something men now.
Right.
That was terrible to see, actually, when you look at the
there were a lot of people going on about that.
Look, I'm a woman.
What? When did that
happen?
I
know. I'm a woman, and I can say now that I can understand. I think it's best just that, like, protecting the president. Yes, this is going to sound sexist, but watching those ladies who were visibly shaken as well, like, that wasn't them reacting. They were like, what's going on?
The one lady for sure, she's actually hiding behind Trump at one point when they were not knowing what was going on. And that was the same lady that had the problem trying to holster her weapon a little later.
Look, and that was just the diversity thing. They said we have to hire women. And
basically, for me, because I have no issue with women filling that role, but if you're in charge of guarding a guy because Trump is like 6'3" or 6'4", you should be at least similar height, so you can at least cover him a kind of a thing.
But look, whatever. But yes, it's an exciting mystery, and I can't wait to find out what unravels. And I think it's getting harder for people to, well, not impossible, but I think it's kind of harder for people to start hiding things, because now people are also becoming aware that the media, CNN, MNS, all them, So people are realizing, oh shit, they're telling freaking lies. Right.
Well,
Now people are
yes.
starting to open their eye. Yeah. Now people are starting to open their eyes and really look
It's
at
like,
things a little bit
welcome to the
better.
party. Where have you been the last several years?
Yeah. But there you go.
Actually, your fair country even made the news this past week. Not big fans of Jack Black and his band there in your
Yeah.
fine
Oh,
country.
yes. I'm going to comment. What I would say what pisses me off is the reaction to the that if she underperforms, seen as a woman can't do it for man.
Right.
Underperforms is, yeah. But I still think that particular lady. There was another one with blondish hair. She seemed to be
Yeah,
okay.
she
She
was
was
actually when they moved Trump off of the stage, she was the one that was like right in front. Where actually, because of her height and Trump's height, that's how he was able to do the fight thing and all that stuff. That's the
No,
only
I'm
reason you
talking.
can
I'm
see that.
talking about. Yeah, she's the one I think probably would have been better put in doing something different. Maybe guarding Mrs. Biden. Um, but there was a blonde Secret Service lady. And watching her, she seemed to know what she was doing. Like she was, but she wasn't one. I don't think she was on the stage. I don't know. I didn't really look. Um,
But yeah, there were certainly some bad
oh,
takes
yeah,
for
I'm not talking
women
about
doing
the.
things. There's a place for that. Maybe not necessarily right there for that moment,
Yeah,
because to be fair, from my experience, anyways, women as far as like shooting and stuff like that with pistols and rifles, even uh, when they take it seriously, are actually pretty good. Way better. They can shoot way better than me. I'm not the greatest shot in the world, but the ones that take it serious can be very, very good. And
yeah,
so that's 90% of what you need for that job. The other part is basically being a human shield for whoever it is you're protecting. And when that person is 6'4" and you are not,
yeah. I
then
think I
then that's an
think if
issue.
you're going to Holly's, Hol- I've seen many memes about this is why women should be back in the kitchen.
Yeah, I've seen those too. That's
Look,
not right.
that's a bit mean, but then I've got a sense of humour, so I also see the funny side of it. But I think if you're going to be a secret, when I applied to be in the police force, I wouldn't apply to be if I were young enough to do it. If I were overweight or anything like that, there's no way I'd apply to be in the police force because how the hell am I going to catch a bad guy if I can't run or whatever? So if you're going to be highest of high Secret Service, you've got to be physically fit, like you just
Right.
do. Now, if you're just working at a desk or going to schools to visit kids, I don't know what they do in the Secret Service. If you're just doing a job that isn't
The
protecting someone, yeah,
the
whatever.
two big things that the Secret Service is responsible for. The first one, of course, is the thing we're just been talking about, is protecting the president and other, cabinet members of the White House and stuff like that. The other
Um,
big thing that's not that,
mm,
which they showed a little bit of, what was the movie with about the Secret Service guy? It was Clint Eastwood, where he was supposedly one of the, I don't remember the movie. He was a while ago. Anyways, the other no, I don't remember what it was called now. But anyways, the other thing that they do.
Enzo, hang on. Wisdom. His shoes. He's got loafers on. They're not lace ups or runners. So when he's been thrown to the ground, his shoes have just come off. That's all.
Right.
That's why he didn't go out there barefoot. Okay, go ahead,
That was
Enzo.
totally a Trump response too, of like, wait a minute, get my shoes. They're probably expensive. He probably did. Hey, come on. But anyways, the other thing that the other big thing that they're responsible for is they're in charge of tracking forged money in the United States. Whenever somebody's trying to print up, fake $100 bills and pass it off someplace, that falls under the Secret Service. Any kind of counterfeiting and stuff like that in the country. So you've got pretty wildly different job sets for someone that's in the Secret Service, where there's like a lot of undercover work and honestly a lot of desk work, computer work involved with the other counterfeiting part. But you do have to like go undercover and get like the trade off the other guys trying to sell you the bad money, and you got to figure out where they're coming from and all that stuff. So there's still some physical requirement there, but not as much. You don't want to necessarily be the ripped up, monster guy that you would want on a security detail. You actually want somebody that looks like a normal person.
Well, and actually, even if you were, say, someone like The Rock, right?
Yeah,
built
that's
like
ridiculous.
that again, that's another, that's not good either, because they're big, but they're not, their cardio is probably not as good as someone a bit thin. You still want to be able to move fast. I'm not saying The Rock can't move fast. Who knows? But usually, generally, big men like that are slower on their feet than, an athletic type.
The movie I couldn't think of was called In the Line of Fire from 1993 with Clint Eastwood, and John Malkovich was the bad guy in that.
Oh, I remember that. Hey, Maisie. Hi, Sorta. My voice is going cranky.
That was the one where John Malkovich made the plastic gun so he could get it through security.
What's that? I had a capital family, federal grow up that in attempts since Kennedy, especially there's no stopping and allowed him to do. But do you understand that? I'm not quite sure.
I had a couple family in federal enforcements and grew up.
You might want to reword it, sort of, because I'm not exactly sure what you mean. But this isn't about politics, by the way, this is about the mystery. This is about the detective work. This is about, what happened here and who's going to get their butt kicked. We're just discussing. I'm a bit excited to find out. I've been watching as everybody probably has, I've been watching all of the little videos and stuff around what happened last Saturday, and I'm thinking, what the? So it's like a mystery. It's a detective, FBI thing. In FBI invest. It's like watching a true crime thing straight up, because it's a crime.
Right. Who done it? Sure.
So I'm not talking about Mr. Trump and Mr. Biden. No politics. I'm talking about the mystery. Like it's full on. I can't wait. I'm very excited because I keep seeing things that just boggle my mind.
It really does kind of boil down to two things: gross incompetence, or it was all part of a plan. Which both are equally frightening for what their responsibilities are for security detail like that there was just so many things gone wrong. As soon as they spotted that guy on the roof, that was actually even before Trump took the stage. He should have never been allowed to take the stage, so they figured out whatever that person was, because originally they just saw a person up on that roof. Which honestly, when you look at it, and again, there's also some, Monday morning quarterbacking going on, armchair quarterbacking kind of thing, where
I'm an armchair
and stuff like that. Yeah,
but it's interesting that all of the footage there's tons, there's footage, there's photos of that boy an hour before he got on the roof. There's picture, he's there. There's video of him just sort of standing and looking. And I'm like, how odd is that? Maybe unless he was getting up the courage to do what he was going to do.
And to answer Holly's question that she just put up there, where
which one? Is there a question?
Yeah.
But
no, Trump. The thing is, when the Secret Service is if there's an imminent threat, it doesn't matter what even the president of the United States says. They can just grab him and go. There was an incident when he was president where there were protesters outside of the White House, and they were throwing not exactly Molotovs. They were throwing stuff around where they were throwing it over the fence. It was a big crowd, and the Secret Service says you need to go into the vault, which is basically like a bunker kind of a thing. And he's like, no, it's not that big. He's like, no, you need to go now.
Yeah.
It's not up to him.
What Sorta was saying before was that she grew up in a federal family And oh yeah, that's we all know that. That's why this is in question last Saturday. Like, why the hell did they even let him go out on the stage?
Right.
So very, very strange. Very strange. What's Sheila saying? The whole story gets weirder and weirder. Thankful Trump. Look,
Yes, it
I
does.
can, there's, imagine what would be happening now if that
We'd
bullet
be
had,
having a very different conversation right now.
yeah, it would be. No, I wouldn't want to be in America right now if it had gone the other way. Absolutely not. But yeah, I did, Sheila. Again, not political, just saying I did watch his speech. But
Mhm.
I noted the first day, because the first day of the, what's it called? The thing that they go to, like the
The
convention.
Republican National Convention.
Yeah. When he walked out, he actually, yeah, there was a different look on his face. So I
He
think, yeah, he's had an awakening of sorts. But you got to
well,
remember, he's been
Trump has a couple of different modes that he does,
yeah,
where
no, but this is
he's
different.
hang on, hang on, hang on.
No,
He
he's
was
sad.
all right.
He's sad.
Fuck what I. Yeah, you're right. I'm an
Yeah,
asshole. What the
fuck
fuck do
you.
I know?
You don't know nothing. All right. But go ahead, Enzo. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
What the hell do
What,
I
what,
know? I don't know anything
what,
about that stupid
yeah,
country he runs.
you don't know nothing about
I'm just some
America.
ass. The deal with
Yeah,
Trump
but I did
is
see it.
he has a quiet mode, which
Mm.
certainly. I mean, I'm not going to say that he was an act, but this was the time to be the reserved time frame for that speech. It wasn't. It should not have been. I'm mad as hell. Those guys are out to get me. There was cheating. There the stuff and blah 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 blah. No, don't do any of that. You play it cool, and that's exactly what he did, which is exactly what he should have done for that.
Yeah, and you're right, Holly, and because initially when I watched it, because it was Enzo who told me it had happened, I was busy doing something, and I just saw the footage and I saw everyone jump on him. So at that moment in time, when they jumped on him, pushed him down and stuff, I kind of thought to myself, although that's going to be an iconic fucking statue one day, um, he shouldn't have been able to get his head up and hand out. Do you know what I mean? They should have all been strong enough to just go boof. It doesn't
Right.
matter that he says, I want my shoes. It doesn't matter that, wait. It had to be a no. And even when he gets down to the car, he's still head up, hand up. Not his fault, because that's how the adrenaline affected him. That's what he wanted to do. Not his fault. Secret Service fault. You shouldn't have even been able to see him. And even when you look back on footage of when the shooter tried to shoot, oh God, I've gone blank. The actor that became president. Oh God, Reagan. When you
Reagan, yeah.
watch that footage where that kid tried to shoot
Oh,
him,
yeah.
oh, you can't. Where's Reagan? Do you know what I mean? Like they were on
Yeah, he
him.
was easily. Well, to be fair, he was getting into the car and then like waved at somebody. And that's what they. So they had this open car. They just needed to shove him, and he was
Yeah.
undercover. So
And he was in. So I don't know. And I've watched The Bodyguard. I know. I'm all over Secret Service. Yeah, sort of Rican said what you just said, Enzo, that he was practically thrown through his car. Oh, golly, golly, golly. What have we got? It's interesting that sometimes the foreign news has more news on. Now,
true.
I'll tell you what. Yeah, it's true. I'll tell you now, though, I don't watch. I've been educating myself, not through people trying to, whatever, educating myself on the different media that America has, the UK as well, and here. Our media here is pretty. I hope no one's watching that works for our media here, but it's very. You wouldn't watch like they're just like little copycats. Like, oh,
Right,
look at
right.
what America said. I don't watch any of our local news broadcasts. I couldn't tell you because it's just all crap. I tried. I thought, okay, I'm going to listen to what all these different people are saying about it. There's some really nasty reporters out there, like really nasty. And there's that show with Whoopi Goldberg. Someone should
Oh
smack
God,
her in the face.
that
Like she's
that
really,
whole I can't watch more than a few seconds of The
I couldn't
View.
watch it. I thought I'll see if I can. I used to watch The View years ago when Barbara Walters was on it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I didn't know much about America. And I don't know, but I just think it's very interesting, the differences in media, and it's and how people will watch something that's said by a reporter and it's gospel because I watch him every morning or I watch her every morning. That's Whoopi. I love Whoopi. Well, she's obviously telling the truth. I don't know. They're just really, people need to, which I have been doing, people need to just go back where people say crap and go back and research what that crap is and see
Right,
where
need
it
a
came
fact
from.
checker.
Like fact check.
Yeah,
Because
basically after immediately after this happened for like 24 hours afterwards, and sometimes even a little more. And as we saw down there in your country with basically there were people that live in this weird bubble where they think everyone thinks like them, and we're saying really ridiculous things, saying, oh shucks, he missed, and stuff like that, where is just barbaric to even say, and then are immediately just pounced upon by everybody else on the internet going, what the hell's wrong with you? And just like that guy, where they think everybody else thinks, and okay, like I could even maybe see like when Tenacious D was there, they brought out the birthday cake for the one guy, and he says blow out the candle, make a wish, and he said the thing. I could almost see like, okay, maybe that's like a super edgy joke, but way too soon, dude. And obviously there was a lot of clapback on that to where that
our government
over for them.
There was government clapback. Fuck them off. Because it doesn't matter what you think of a human being, unless it was like a serial killer. A serial killer escapes and then is shot in the head. Oh well, that's a different thing. But you don't wish that. Like that's really.
There's a difference between I disagree with your policies and I want you ended. That's the jump that some people made, and immediately there was a wave of clapback on all of those people, and they're like, "Oh God, wait, there's people that think differently than me."
Yeah, a couple lost their jobs, and some have been suspended. Like, I just think it's in poor taste, and like I say, it's got nothing to do with politics. I don't give a shit. It's got to do with the fact that a human being was targeted. When you look at how close he came. Oh, and then I'll never watch Star Wars the same again.
Oh no, that was one of the worst ones.
And then I wanted to shout from the rooftops, I'm a nurse, okay? One of the hardest places, and Dee, you'll agree with me, Dee's probably had to bandage people as well, Dee Newman. The ear is one of the hardest friggin' things to bandage up. You're either going to, one, have to put around the head to hold a bandage in place, or you do what some inventful, that would probably be a nurse, put that on, put the padding, and then you'll put the stuff around. There was nothing wrong with that dressing. It was just that you could see it. That was a good dressing. Like, that's how you would dress an ear. And then you've got all these people go, oh, it's fake.
I have to be like you say, because it was the ear. I was expecting it to be much bigger than it was. To make it even as compact as it was, I thought was pretty good for it to stay on there.
Oh yeah, no, that's what I mean. Like I'm not,
and that's what a lot of people have that same idea. Is like, I wouldn't want this to happen to anybody. But there are other people that are going the opposite direction of like, what? That's just mad. It really boggles my mind that somebody would even think to say that.
I'm not going to get into a discussion about January 6th, but I'd be interested to see if they were indeed Trump supporters. I won't get into that, but yeah, January the 6th was a shit show. But that's political, and I don't want to discuss it.
Yeah, well, you will still get in trouble on YouTube talking about that. So.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that. But and actually, when you look into it too, the only thing I will say about that was like, oh, he never called in the National Guard. He asked for it, and he got told no by that Nancy woman.
Yeah.
But there you go. So, hey, Joe, did you get those things I sent you through? I'm still going to have a look. I've been researching for Joe this morning, so I've sent him some stuff to read and see what we can find out. But yeah, so I'm just fascinated to see how this all ends with an investigation. Like, what do they find out? And I'm pretty sure that no matter who is, I don't think, and by the way, I don't think Mr. Biden ordered it. Okay, I don't think anything like that. There's conspiracy theories about all that. I'm like, yeah, nah.
Right.
If it's not just this crazy kid, if it turns out that it may just be a calamity of bad organization. It probably is.
The thing is, they can't really cover anything up because, especially afterwards, it's a pretty strong indication that Trump's going to be the next president of the United States come November. Yeah. He'll get into office in January, get sworn back in, blah, 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 blah. And people are just going to have to deal with that. That's probably going to be the case. So he's going to be, in a few months, be able to have full access to everything that they have. So they can't like cover it up or make up crazy lies because he's going to be able to see all of that.
Look, I think it'll come out that it was just people not doing their job properly. Like it'll just be, I don't know. Although that picture of the young boy with the guy in charge of that thing and the gun, that's weird. I don't know what that was. What's that? Question: what are your thoughts of sky sounds, God trumpets, and if you know versus this stuff? Well, I've never heard any, so I don't know.
I'm familiar with what they are. I've seen videos about them and stuff like that. And from the sciencey side, there are like tectonic plate type movements that can cause strange sounds like that. But where a lot of these things were reported, where there's actual like video or audio of them, weren't really in tectonically active places. Not all of them. Some of them were. Some of them weren't. But it's certainly
something. Enzo. Yes, Antoine, I did delete your comment, and I never said you were a disgusting human being. There was someone else that also made a comment, and it wasn't a place for a political, nasty comment about the man who just got shot. That's not what I put it up there for. And if you've got a political, if you've got an opinion about the man, that's your opinion. But I didn't want to see it in that post. That post was a, phew, thank God he's okay, not a let's get into Trump. So, like I said, you don't have to be here, Antoine, but I don't like nasty words towards anyone. Same as the Mr. Biden. I actually feel very sorry for him at the moment. Poor thing. Like he's cuckoo, like he's sick. So, you don't have to, they're human beings, they're fathers, grandpas, whatever. And I know that if a person that I cared about nearly got murdered, I'd be really upset if I saw people saying stuff like that about him. So that's why I deleted the comments, yours and another person. I can't think who it was now. So it wasn't.
Seem to also forget someone did die that day.
Yeah, the fireman.
He was a firefighter. He was all those things, and there were other people that were injured as well. And
so when stuff like that happens, what happens to the average human being like myself? I'm just average mum. I just read and watch and listen and take it all in, and I'm not swayed either way by he's good or he's bad. But I would never. I can't think of anybody at the moment I can't think of one human being that if that happened to, I'd go, damn. I just think that's a disgusting thing to say, that, oh, they missed, or, oh, now, blah, blah, blah. If you live in America and you have opinions, like I think Americans even have to kind of probably watch what they say, because you don't know. Like, you're basing a lot of stuff on what you get told in the media, which is fine. We all do. Like, we all watch the media and we get told blah, 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 blah. But what I tend to do is when I see that, I think, where did that come from? And I'll try and fact check and go back, especially if they're referring to, oh, when so and so was interviewed, they said X, Y, and Z. I'll try and go back and find that. And oftentimes you do find it's been reported incorrectly, or edited. But yeah, I just don't think it's right, given that that poor fireman died. The other two apparently are getting better now. The other two that were shot, it was another lady and a man. That was a horrific day. And on that day, I actually felt frightened, because I thought, what's the world come to that it would be that easy to pop someone off? And then what would happen? It'd be chaos. It'd be absolute chaos now. I don't even want to think of it. But yeah, so I don't say anything. I don't want any nasty comments on any of my posts. So that's why I deleted them. And like I say, you can, I'm not sure why Antoine is so passionate, because he doesn't live in America. Maybe he is American. I don't know. And there's a few other people that get very, very passionate and say nasty things about people. I think it's okay to think that to yourself, but don't put it out there, because it's a bit nasty. And I don't like nasty. But there you go. Yes, I know what Project 25 is, Maisie, and it's not. Yes, I do, and I've read a fair bit on it. Yeah, but my thoughts. That's political. I don't care. It's just ideas. It's how do you put it? It's a manual. It's like a, hey, here's a couple of ideas we're going to throw out. This is what you could do there. This is what you could do there. It's not something that's written in stone and says, this is what I am going to do, or this is what you will do. It's someone's put together a whole heap of stuff and gone, how about this?
Trump was asked about it, and he's like, I don't know what it is. I don't know who wrote it. It's
what? Who asked what? Oh, Trump. Is that who you said? Trump?
Yes. Trump was asked about it, and it's like, I don't know what that is. I didn't make it. It's not for me.
And that's what I mean. It's not anything. It's just like someone has put together. That's what it is. I don't know. That's all it is. So I don't know what the fuss is about. But there you go. Let's see. I'm glad you're not here looking for trouble, Antoine, because I'll smack you if you do. All right. What's Sheila saying? I was mortified by the comments of that guy, Destiny. That truly was disturbing to me. What am I missing?
Destiny is I guess a YouTube person, not a YouTube personality. He's an online personality.
Was he the one on Piers Morgan?
Honestly, probably. Yeah, he's been on.
Darkish hair, mid-30s.
Yes. That's his brand, is to be ultra controversial and say mostly. I mean, he's a self-ascribed communist, I believe. So anything, that's just his brand. That's his thing. I don't know if any of what he says is even true. It's just that's his brand that he puts out there.
But it was
an internet personality. I don't necessarily know if any of what he says he actually believes.
I know that I enjoy watching Piers, but sometimes I can't, because he does it on purpose. I know it's his sort of format, but he'll always have some wanker. Like, there'll be people that are happy to talk normally, and there'll be one wanker on the panel that's going to talk like that. And I get stressed, because I think, don't talk like that. Can't you just have a civil conversation? Like, why do you have to talk like that? Why do you have to say horrible things? So, yeah, but I did see that one, and then I saw Pierce calling him a name or something, and I went, yeah, I've seen enough. I've seen enough. Now, that's political, Holly, and I'm not going to comment on it because I don't want to comment on Trump's policies or Joe Biden's policies. I don't want to. I was really, really just fascinated by this whole thing last Saturday, and I'm really fascinated to see what comes out of the investigation. Because as Enzo said, there's no way. Oh, well, there probably still is a way people can cover things up, but it's just highly doubtful because there's way too many eyes on it now, and people want answers. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens. But I was going to say, Joe earlier said our company is run by Big Pharma. Our country is run by Big Pharma. So is ours. But
Pretty much the whole world at this point.
I think the whole world is. But I was when I was in America and staying with my friend Connie. That's where I started to watch Gutfeld. I think he's funny. He goes over the top sometimes, but I think he's funny. But I started to watch Gutfeld in America, and I was. Because I was watching American TV, I said to my friend Connie, are they allowed to advertise like that? Because it was all Big Pharma advertisements on medications that in this country, and I think in America, you cannot get unless you see a doctor and he writes a prescription. It's not like you can go to the local pharmacy or drugstore and buy it over the counter. These are drugs that affect. One was if you've got the shakes, and it was a particular drug, and the other one was for depression, and you can have this and all these really potent medications, and it gets advertised on the normal telly over there. And I'm like, we're not allowed to do that here. The most you can advertise is paracetamol for a headache. That's about it. But I was amazed with the TV over there, how much they can say and do there. You do, Loz. Much love to you and your sister. Much love. Arthur, if you voted for Trump, name one of his policies and how directly affected you for the better. Oh, well, I'm not going to get into. You can talk all you like there in the chat. Yeah, I don't know. I can't see what if people are talking about it in the chat. They probably need to stop. I don't want to talk about politics. I want to talk about the mystery, and I think I've covered it anyway as best as I can. But yeah.
I think we've just. I think we've gone as far as we can as far as what's come out on the internet so far about all of it.
Yeah, so I'm just keeping an eye on all the clues and all that sort of thing, and we'll see what ends up happening. But there you go. Maisie's getting worried. Who's in the chat being nasty? Watch out. Tanya, where are you? Do your job. Tanya's trying to change the subject. If anyone's naughty, you just give them time out. Oh, good. Say hello to Nikki for me. That would be good. What's that, sort of Rican? So there I was, half naked with an ostrich in leather chaps and a bow tie. Wonderful. Again?
How many times has this happened? Jeez.
I think last time it was emu. Dear. Yeah, so what else has been happening this week aside from the mystery? Nothing really that's sort of overtaken. There's a lot of little things. Oh, I saw, what's her name from 90210 passed away. She passed away last Saturday. Shannon Doherty. Yeah, poor girl. 53.
Yeah, I never watched that show, but I know a lot of people liked it. So.
Oh, I watched that show, but I'm not for a long time because it got stupid. I was more Beverly Hills Beverly Hills 9010. No, not Beverly Hills 91020, whatever it was. That was what she was in. The other one, something Place, Melrose Place. That's the one I liked with Heather Locklear in a short little skirts.
Wasn't she on that one witch show too and got kicked off of it? That was that
What was
show
that?
called?
Who got kicked
Wasn't
off
she
what?
on? Wasn't she on that witch show?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she didn't get kicked off. She left, I think. They argued. Funny thing is, with
Darn.
that
Yeah,
one,
there you go.
yeah, Charmed. The funny thing with that whole Charmed thing is that Alyssa Milano that I used to love in Who's the Boss. um, but it's funny because it was her and Shannon that had issues, and Shannon took off. But then later, there were other girls that were in it and had issues with Alyssa. So possibly,
Yeah.
one needs to one
She may
needs
have
to
been
think.
part of the problem there for sure.
And of course, it's Hollywood and movie stars and TV, and everyone's got egos. So it is what it is. And besides that, they get paid well. I don't care anymore. I'm actually over actors and rich people acting like they can tell us what to do. Probably only some of them have worked a day in their life. But there you go. I'm just seeing. Mallrats. She was in Mallrats, wasn't she? That's an old movie now. What is that? Jay and Silent Bob were in Mallrats, weren't they?
I think
From
so.
memory, I think so. That's a movie I really liked. Dogma. I haven't been able to with Ben Affleck, Ben Affleck, Matt Damon. God was that singer. Can't think of the name. Alyssa Morissette. Did you ever see Dogma?
Nope, never saw that one.
You've got to find it, Enzo, and watch Dogma. It was such a good movie. It's pretty old.
1999.
Yeah, I think Microsoft just rebooted, and like it happens to all of us, Microsoft rebooted and it fucked everything. I never, I get all these updates to say, oh, we've got to update this and update that. And I cringe because I think, no. And sure enough, I don't know if anyone else has the problem, but if I get a updates. If it says security, I just don't, I try not to. But then if you turn your computer off and turn it back on, it freaking does it automatically. I'm like, so I don't know.
That was what was frightening with what happened today with that is how far it cascaded out. And it wasn't even like it was like a hacking thing where someone had intentionally gone in and do it. It was actually something else. Yep, Bob Hart.
Did Bob die?
Yes, he did.
When
A couple of days ago.
I liked Bob. I knew he was getting old, though. I knew he was getting old.
He was well into his 90s, I think.
Yeah. Oh, he's one of the old classics. I like watching the Johnny Carson show because I watch the Johnny Carson show a lot. Cheers me up, takes me back to an easier, simpler time when people were just chauvinistic or whatever. You just dealt with it. But yeah, Bob Newhart was always just that.
Yeah.
Deadpan.
Yeah, very super dry humor, just sliding that line in, and one of those. I love that kind of super dry kind of humor like that, where they say something and you almost don't know if that was a joke. The way that it gets slid in there into the conversation, and they're like, "Oh, he just slammed me."
Yeah. Oh, did
He's,
anyone else?
94.
94.
Yeah.
Oh, Jonathan, hello. I did see you in there earlier. Good night, everyone. I'll see you all later. I'm going to try and catch one of your lives, Jonathan. Every time I see it, it's the wrong time of the day for me. I can't pop in because I'm either asleep and just waking up to do something, or it's really, really late and I'm wanting to go to sleep.
See, we lost Bob Newhart. We lost Richard Simmons. Lost Dr. Ruth Westheimer.
When did Richard Simmons cark it?
July 12th.
Oh.
And also on the 12th, Dr. Ruth Westheimer. Remember Dr. Ruth?
Oh, she was funny. She'd come on and talk all about sex. I'm
Yep.
trying to think who where did I watch her? What show did she often come on? And Dr. Ruth would talk about, sex, and she was very blah about it. She was
Uh,
funny.
she was, because she was so open with it. I know she did a lot of news shows over here on ABC.
I wonder if she was
Uh,
ever on Johnny Carson. Maybe.
oh yeah, I'm sure she was on there a lot.
I'm gonna Google Johnny. Johnny Carson. What? Dr. Ruth.
Yeah,
Surely.
her
Yes, she was.
being way more open about just sex and sex education in general.
Yeah.
It kind of was, it spurned a lot of other shows that were
Mm.
a lot more open with that, especially for young kids. It's kind of where you had that show that Dr. Drew and what was the other guy, the comedian's name? They did a radio show kind of in that same time frame, because that was kind of like a hot topic. We could talk about that. Yeah, if it's scientific and true, sure. It doesn't have to be dirty language stuff. You're educating people.
Yeah. So she was on the Johnny Carson show. I might watch that later on. That's probably where I've seen her.
Adam Carolla. Thank you, Sorterican. Adam Carolla. I totally blanked on his name.
Adam Carolla. There you go. You guys in the chat, stop talking politics. All right? It'll start fights. We won't have it. Stop it. Stop it, I say. What else was I going to talk about? Oh, and I watched an interview there's another channel I like, Watcher. And they went, I never realised George Costanza. Shit, what's his name? The actor.
Oh, what is his
Oh,
name?
you know who I mean.
Right.
He's got a podcast thing he does with a friend, and they had the two boys from Watcher on to talk to them about. It was a ghost interview, talking about ghosts and all that sort of thing. And it was very, like, I already know because I watched their Ghost Files, so I watched them. I already know that they don't fake anything. They never found anything. Like, they just go in and they have fun, right? And they were talking to him, and it was nice to hear. I think it was Shane, the taller one of the two, who said, look, we go to places, because they were discussing bullshit. And he said, we go to plenty of places where we get told all this rhetoric about the house is this or the place is that. And he said, we know it's not true. Like, he said, there's no, but he said, that's not what we're really there for. We go in, we listen. But he said, you can research a lot of these things. And I thought that's refreshing. So, because he's right, because I've been doing other stuff. Like, I put out that little, Don Rickles, he's my favourite. He used to be in I Dream of Jeannie sometimes too, as a staff sergeant or something. He was funny, and he'd yell at Anthony Nelson. I've forgotten what I was saying now because I looked at Don Rickles' name.
You're talking about Jason Alexander. What was his?
Jason Alexander, the podcast. But so I subscribed to that. I don't know, but that was pretty funny. And Jason said that he wants to go with them, those two boys. He'd love to. He said he had he said he had contacted Zach Bagans and asked if he could go with him. And Zach said, "Oh, you want it? Okay, I'll let you know," but never contacted him. And I'm like,
sounds
about
right.
Like, what about George Costanza? Like, I still love Seinfeld. I still love it. Shrinkage. It's shrinkage.
I can't see. Of course, everyone, thinks of Jason Alexander as George now. So I can't imagine seeing George Costanza on any kind of a ghost hunt kind of a thing. It's like the first creaking floor, I'm out of here, and just goes running out, knocking people down, cameras and everything else.
I tell you what, there was Julie says, look, so do I. Like, when you watch, as I say, I watch Johnny Carson show, like the old ones. And when Don would come out with Frank Sinatra, that was friggin' funny. but he was also like they were great friends with Sammy Davis Jr., etc. And I saw many times even Sammy, like they made what is now known as racist jokes. And quite frankly, the era I grew up in, people made, you just did.
Right.
Like not a joke, like you would, like I had a friend who was from Spain, and one day she said something to me about how I said mango because she said mango. And I said, "What's a mango?" And she goes, "You know, the fruits." And I went, "Oh, mango." And she goes, mango. And then she said, "Australians." And I said, "Oh, shut up, you bloody wog." And we just laughed. But so it was a different time. But I've seen Don Rickles come out when he says, there was a couple, two men in the audience, and he says something about he hopes his hotel room isn't being robbed right now while he's on stage, and I'm like, oh, but people just laughed back then. I think they had thicker skins. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Puerto Rican. Yeah, I like the roasts too. The celebrity roast. I think it's Dean Martin's had the show
Yeah.
with the
Celebrity
celebrity
roast.
roast.
Yeah.
Oh, they were super funny. I don't like watching the roasts that they have now.
They get rough. They get real
They
rough.
get really nasty, really nasty. Like, but the old ones where it's just jokes, it's stand up, it's jokes. Like that's what they're doing, and it is funny, and nothing's horrible. But yeah,
Right.
the newer sorts that they have, ooh, nasty.
They go for the throat on some of those.
Yeah, Frasier is one of my favourite shows. I used to love Cheers as well, but Frasier I really loved. I can watch that like I can, what do you call it? When you watch something over and over again. I can just, yeah. Nasty jokes are not nice. But I think too, those roasts, like the last one I saw bits of was that one for, I think he's a football player, Enzo. I don't really know him, or maybe a baseball player, someone.
Oh yeah,
And
it was on Netflix, I think.
yeah, and I can't, tasteless sort of jokes and nastiness, and I thought, ooh, like I don't know, like his kids were watching that. Although I wouldn't have let my kids watch my dad get roasted, but there you go. Let's have a look. I enjoyed Mythos Paranormal Investigation of the Hand. Yes, wasn't that a good episode? Yeah, everybody go over later if you haven't seen it. It wasn't long, was it, Sheila? I can't think. It's not a long, much like me now, I'm not putting out long videos because people don't seem to want to watch long videos. So I put out little ones. But yeah, his was good. He went to a place where, I've got to remember what it was called now. Gibbet. I'll find it and I'll put a link to it. Let's see, Mythos. Ooh, Mythos. There you are. Oh, there we go. I called out the killer. It didn't go well. Winter's Gibbet. That must be where it is. Winter's Gibbet. Hang on, I'll just bring it up and I'll.
You're looking that up. As far as devices not going off and things like that, that's not necessarily doesn't mean nothing was happening or they weren't picking anything up. It's going out for things like this for any kind of paranormal thing, whether it's Bigfoot or UFOs or ghosts. It's a lot like fishing. Sometimes you're going to go out and they're just not biting, or you just don't catch anything. So that's where like some of these ghost shows get into trouble, is because if they got nothing, like in this instance, they can't just show people sitting around on TV for an hour show. So we'll throw a little something. They'll do the what? Did you hear that? Kind of gag.
Yeah.
Things like that, where then they start getting crazy, faking stuff, and then they end up getting caught all the time. And then
well, that's why I like watching Watcher, the Ghost Files. I think that's what they call their show, Ghost Files, because like they said in the interview I watched yesterday, plenty of places they've gone to, and he said they'll be the episodes where we're just being idiots, like we're just, because nothing's happening. They go there and nothing happens, and they both said that really, and they've been to, they've got some new episodes coming out in September. They've been to England and they've gone to a few places. So it'd be interesting to see. They did say where they've been and I can't remember. But yeah, but that's it. They don't say stuff like that. It's just you watching them be silly and it's enjoyable. And at the same time, they're in interesting places. It's just, I think it's just really watching them, like Laurel and Hardy. That's what it feels. Do you remember an old movie, Abbott and Costello? And I can't remember what it's called now, but there's a mummy and I think a Frankenstein monster or something. And right at the end, I can't remember what he opens, whether he moves a picture or he does something. And it was back in the days where like Bob Hope and Bing Crosby, or there'd be crossovers, like certain actors would do bits. And I remember Bud Abbott does something, or he opens something and he goes, ah, and you see, I think it's little skeletons with Bob Hope and Bing Crosby's heads on, and they make their jokes. I can't remember.
Bob Hope and Bing Crosby back in that time frame. I don't know how many of those road movies they made. You know, Road to Cairo and Road to
wherever. We're up on the road to Morocco. Yeah. I grew up on those. Morocco, Bali. In the one to Road to Bali, they were in Australia in the movie. Oh. They weren't really, but they were performing on something, and they got
they're on Universal backlot, just moving sets around most of the time.
Yeah.
But, they made a lot of those.
Yeah, but I do love all the old movies, and I can still watch a lot of the old English programs. Like Some Mothers Do Have Them. Are You Being Served? On the Buses, like all these really old shows, and the humor. It's just funny. It's just funny. It just takes you back. Like now they couldn't get away with any of the jokes that they have in that. Which, never know. What's sort of asking you? I want to know, in case in my lifetime still, if we're going to get into planetary trouble at this rate, I would totally change plans. I don't know. We're stuck here anyway, sort of.
Well, you skipped his question that he asked like 5 minutes ago, so I answered it in the chat, and we've just kind of been bouncing back and forth about it. He was asking a question about the UAP congressional hearings, and they're supposed to have one before October, but I think in the current climate, even if they had one, I don't imagine it would get a lot of press because there's a lot of other things to catch press, which I would, even without some of the excitement the last few weeks, with an election year, just in general, I wouldn't think something like that would garner a whole lot of press.
No. Even if there was a meteor heading for the planet right as we speak now, I think everyone would still be, what? I'm watching this. Like, no one would pay attention. If we ever get hit by anything and die, we'll be dead. It doesn't matter.
People in New York would pay attention. Did you see that earlier this week?
No, what?
It was something I was going to talk about tomorrow, but there was basically a daylight meteor that went off right over New York City, caused a big loud explosion and all that. There were a couple of cameras that caught it where it's in the middle of the day. And if you recall, last weekend, I did mention that we're coming up on a fair-sized meteor shower. And sometimes they do have some bigger pieces in there. So that's probably a trailer for that. So
I always I've got jet planes fly over my house every now and then, not a lot, probably maybe one a day. There must be a path where they go over, maybe more than one a day, but I certainly notice at least one a day because you hear it. And I think to myself, imagine, I've seen such horrible footage in the past of planes crashing into neighbourhoods and stuff near airports when, going back. But I kind of think, that would be freaking nothing worse, sitting in your lounge room watching telly, having a cup of tea, and a freaking jet plane falls on your house. So, I don't know. Meteors. So I don't know. And Maisie, Miss Maisie, how you going? now that you're all, cancer free and everything? Are you picking up a little bit more with energy? Because it's not long to go till I'm over there, young lady. I'm not going to eat haggis either, by the way. I hope you don't like it. There's
Have you
no way
had it
I'll.
before?
Oh, there's no way I'd even imagine touching a haggis. Gross. The
It,
same as
it, it, it does sound kind of gross, but if it smelled okay, I would at least taste it. I would try it.
oh no, because I know what it all is. No, no, I'll just have something normal. I don't know. Just a lovely stew. I'm looking forward to a lot of lovely stews when I'm in England. Just some yummy stews, and yeah, stopping. I want to get. Oh, look, I have my imagination's working overtime as to what I want to do and where I want to go. Yeah, oh, black pudding. Blah, blah. Look, there's some things, if I was starving, if it was the end of the world thing, apocalyptic or whatever, even then I'd think, oh, well, shit, I'm not going to be able to kill anything to eat it. Like, I've got pet chickens. I couldn't knock them on the head and eat them because I was hungry. So I'll be turning into a cow or something. I'll just be eating bloody stewed up vegetables. And what's that? What's this you show me? Oh, that's
Since I
it.
did mention it, this is a still frame, but this is the meteor that it basically came down almost directly over top of the Statue of Liberty.
Ooh. Now, is everyone saying that's an alien?
Well,
it's an alien. I think New Yorkers are. Tanya's sick. Look at that. Nom nom. Black pudding. Blah.
Never had it. It doesn't sound like something I would like, but again, I usually don't like stuff that's weird or something like that. I'll at least I'll smell it. If it smells okay, I'll at least give it a taste. Doesn't mean I'll like it, but I like to give everything a fair chance.
There you go.
But yeah, New York's been kind of panicky here the last few months because if you recall, they were having some like 4.0 earthquakes there a few months back, and everybody was freaking out. So they're all shaky right now.
I thought to myself too, if I thought, oh, see, I don't know. I don't know. I was thinking myself the other day, if something happened here because we're sea level, right? Side sea level. If waves or tidal waves or, meteor hits and the waters rise, probably stuffed unless you've got a boat in your backyard. But I've seen footage of those, like, in Japan when that big tidal wave came and stuff. You've got
tsunamis.
Tsunami, you've got no freaking help if you're like, I don't know. And you see how the water is going so fast. It's worse than rapids. So as much as people can say, oh, and people did survive, I don't know how. But I sort of think, look, just if something like that happens, you've just got to do your best to get out of it. Like, how would I get out of that? Or, oh, well, it was a nice
My idea for it, and I'm surprised nobody else has done it yet, because it sounds like something that someone would certainly buy if they're panicky. If you're in one of those kind of areas where a tsunami might hit, like they have like those special boats that are for like the really big ships where it's all enclosed. So it wouldn't roll. But they're usually made out of fiberglass. And if you're getting smashed around with buildings and trees and cars and everything else, it's not going to help you out. So my idea was you have like up on your roof this emergency like helium balloon kind of thing with just a small basket for like you and the dog, and that's kind of it. And have it anchored to the building so it doesn't float away. And when you see the wave coming, you just hit the thing, it fills up the balloon, and you kind of float above all of it. So everything else wrecks out. And even if the line does get cut, you'll just land somewhere else later, like a hot air balloon kind of an idea.
Well, keep taking the iron. Have they given you an infusion of iron, Maisie? One of my daughters had to have an iron infusion, and that helped. But yeah, just rest up. You'll be right. You've still got 6, 7, about 8 weeks to go, I think, till I would get up to meet you. So there you go. I'm definitely going to call in on Maisie. And Dr. Deb's consoling you. It's a horrible feeling, Maisie, the iron deficiency exhaustion. Yeah. Yeah. My daughter is currently going through some issues now. She's had a colonoscopy and an endoscopy. She can't make iron. She can't retain iron. She sleeps nearly all day, and they still don't know what's going on. And she's had an infusion. It did nothing. So they're working on it. We might find out this week what the issue is. If not, I'll take her to a hematologist. Like, give me a referral to a hematologist and let's work out why she's not making iron.
Or she like
is,
liver?
But she is, but so it's really no, and everything else is fine. Like, that's the thing. They do the blood tests and everything's all right. I'm like, well, obviously something's not. But there you go.
What's a natural source of iron besides liver? Because I know that's not everybody's.
Spinach.
We're just talking about all the gross. That's right. I forgot about spinach.
Spinach is really gross high.
Foods. Here, you're iron deficient. Here's some liver for you.
Steak, red meats. There's tons of stuff that's got iron in it, and that's a thing. It's not my daughter's diet either. So the dietitian said it's not a diet. Night, Jennifer B. But there you go. Yeah, silver beet. Yeah, silver beet, spinach, green veggies, red meats.
Silver beets. I've never heard of silver beet.
Silver beets are silver beet. Oh, it's a lot like spinach. It looks the same. Yeah, it looks it. Yeah,
I don't mind a little spinach.
Yeah, the spinach I like to eat, but it's got to be. I usually put it in something like a stew.
I like it.
I love stews.
I don't like spinach out of a can where it's just this goopy mess. That I don't like, but like baby spinach, mixed in as like a salad, or even like stir fried in with some other vegetables and stuff like that. I like that.
Yeah. What else? Yeah, but that's about it for iron. But yeah, it sucks. So get your energy up, young lady. If it turns out that you don't feel well or you don't have enough energy, at the very least, we can go out for lunch somewhere nice. I wonder if you can. Are you allowed to have? Is Edinburgh? I know Edinburgh Castle is open to tourists, obviously, but can you have? Hi, escape the simulation radio. Oh dear. I know that you can go and walk through Edinburgh Castle, but can you have they got a cafe in there? I'd like to have a cup of tea and some scones in a cafe at Edinburgh Castle. D. Interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of funny things that when it comes to food that if you mix. Here's one thing the dietitian told me that I had no idea of. I love mushrooms. I will eat mushrooms till the cows come home. But she was talking about food that has vitamin D in it, and because we need vitamin D. We absolutely need vitamin D. And she said, if you like mushrooms, she said you get the mushrooms and you put them out in the sun for about 10 minutes. They absorb vitamin D. They absorb vitamin D. And she said, so the mushrooms are all of a sudden this big. Yeah, I had no idea. That came from the dietitian, and I looked it up, and it's true. I went, wow.
No idea.
Yeah, so you just basically get your mushrooms prepared and pop them out in direct sunlight for about 10 minutes and then come in and cook them, and boom, you've got a beautiful vitamin D meal. So if anyone likes mushrooms, some people don't, but if you do, there you go. If you want to be sure you're getting your vitamin D, stick them out in the sunshine.
There's places that make those, they use those giant portobello mushrooms and slice them up almost like a big piece of meat, really. And
yeah, I can eat mushrooms that way. I make up like sometimes I don't feel like eating meat. I don't know why, but sometimes I just like, I don't want to eat meat. So I'll get some mushies and make up a mushroom type thick mushroom sauce, and then I'll have mashed potato with the mushroom sauce heaped on top and some beans, green beans and stuff. Yeah, I love mushrooms. Or mushrooms in a salad are nice, just cut up, like not cooked. Yeah, they're very good for you. Oh, here we go. Well, then it's a date, Maisie. Can you
go.
get into that okay and no worries? We'll go to the Red Coat Cafe. I'll check it out. Whoop. Even Julia likes mushrooms, see? Um, what's Sheila saying? I have Crohn's disease and it can cause low iron. Listen, yeah, they tested my daughter for Crohn's disease, Sheila. But come back because that's what they were thinking it could have been causing her iron. But oh, bub. All right, take something so you do sleep properly. Is it what time is it there? Where you are, Enzo?
Oh, it's 9:22 p.m. on
Oh,
Friday.
well, it's time for bed, young lady, anyway. Go take something. Yeah, migraines are terrible. My sister used to suffer from migraines and they would debilitate her. She'd be in bed and couldn't move and would vomit, pass out. Like she had really, really bad ones. Poor sis. Yeah, Dee, I used to go mushrooming too. And it's funny, I think I know the correct ones to pick, but nowadays, especially after that murder case in Victoria, I don't think I'd be game enough. You know the ones you don't pick, like the pretty mushrooms that have got like colours on them or spots on them or a funny little shape. You know that they're not the mushrooms you can eat. But there is like, yeah, if you don't know what you're picking, you could either be A, high as a kite, or B, dead. Whatever. Hey, Dee, what happened to that lady? Is that case gone to? I kind of lost track of that. The lady that I'm pretty sure she was arrested and charged with the murder of all those people. Did you hear about that in America? The lady that
No.
cooked. She invited her. Oh, let me see. I think it was her old parent-in-laws. She invited some people over anyway, and fed them all lunch. And everyone she invited died. Bar one, I think, death caps. That's what they were called. Thanks, Holly. Yeah.
Oh,
She's
yes, I
waiting.
did hear about this. Yeah.
Yeah, and gee, yeah,
Well,
I'm interested too, because she said that she got them. Now, Holly, is this right from memory? I think she said she purchased the mushrooms from, a little Vietnamese store or something like that. And they said, well, okay, because that's where she said she got them. But then someone else said she picked them, and then someone else said something different. So I don't know, but I'm pretty sure she couldn't name the shop, and that was just a not true comment.
yeah. Well, I found
Yeah.
the menu for the Red Coat Cafe if you'd like to pick out something to eat.
Oh, let's have a look, Rosie. Maisie Rose.
Got,
Soup of the day, pizza, salad. Edinburgh chef. Where's a stew? I want a stew.
Grab and go stuff. The children's menu. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. There you go. Right up front. Haggis right there.
Yeah, you can keep your haggis and pork sausage. Ooh, crushed. They've got no stews. I thought just everybody cooked stews in England and Scotland. Go down a bit. Is there more? Is there desserts?
Got cakes.
Ooh, muffins. Isle of Arran ice cream. What's that?
Lemon drizzle loaf. Sounds pretty good.
And Maisie, is that pounds? Like, so £4.50, etc.? I'm assuming so. £3.60. Because English money, the pound. So if I've got $1 Australian, that'll get me 50p. If I've got $10 Australian, that'll get me £5. So Australian dollars aren't worth jackety packety in England. Oh, it looks good. All right, that's where we're going. All right, Maisie. Oh, roast.
Tasty looking stuff in there.
I think I like that one. It's cold pressed. What's a crushed? Oh, that's the potatoes with a spring onion mash, basini rice, coconut lemons, garlic, sage roasted. That's lots of potatoes. Barbecue, walnut rubs, lemon thyme roast. I think I'll go for the roast. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Oh, there are roast portobello mushroom.
Yeah, right there.
Ooh, I could have a bit of everything. Oh, right. Well, that's where definitely
There you
having
go.
lunch there, Maisie.
Now that we're all
Definitely.
starving, we're all hungry
Yeah,
now.
now that we're all hungry. Ooh, yeah, that'll be good. And the cakes. Hang on, I just want to check if there's a cake there that I know. Well, I know carrot cake. Oh, chocolate fudge and Malteser cake. Ah, I'll have a piece of that. I love
What is
Malteser.
Malteser? What is that?
Uh,
I'm not familiar with it.
well, you know what malt is, yeah?
Right, right.
Malt, yeah, yeah. So it's like a chocolate. It's malt, a ball of malt in the middle, and covered with chocolate, and they're soft. It's sort of like
Nice.
I'll have to send you some. I'm surprised you don't have. Oh yeah, you don't have Maltesers in America. I don't remember
We
seeing them.
must we probably just call it something else.
Oh, there you go. Dr. Deb says you call it malted milk balls.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
Remember
like them.
those.
I can eat a whole packet. I haven't though. Guess what? I've lost 14 kilograms, Enzo.
Wow.
Yep,
Congratulations.
yep. It pays to get sick.
Get that menu off of there so you don't gain it all back just by looking at the what's going
The
on there.
menu, yeah, the menu. I've got to. I've spoke to my son because his wife has been to England and she's been to Paris, and I said to her, I said, "How hard is it to get to Paris from England? Like, can I just skip across?" And she goes, "Oh yeah." She said, "But just catch the train." She said, "Don't drive. Catch the train. It takes you straight to the whatever, and you can have a look around." So, um, I might as well. I can at least say that I'd love to go to the museum where the Mona Lisa is. We'll see how I go. We'll see how I go. But I would love to go to Paris just to say I've been
It's
there.
only
And
like
listen,
this big, so
and plus, when French men speak, I don't care what they're saying. It's like, oh, oh, it's I don't know, something about the French accent is lovely. I think I've said before I was watching. Julie just says she's gained all the weight that I've lost. Well, it's got to go somewhere. That's
you
the theory.
lost it, she found it.
Yeah. Um. Oh, what was I saying? Yeah. Jean Claude Van Damme. Back in the day, I had a bit of a crush on him when he was younger. I don't know why. I think, but I did. Um, but I saw him once in an interview, and I was only ever used to hearing him with his accent, but speaking English. And in this interview, it was a Belgium interview, and he was just speaking French. And I'm like, I didn't know what he was saying, but I'm like, oh,
How do you say
he was like,
vehicle in French?
yeah. How do you say vehicle in French? Jeez, 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 jeez. Um, Oh, that's what the ice cream is. Oh, wow, great, Cam no, here, sorry.
Ice
The
cream.
ice cream is made on the Isle of Arran. Is it nice and creamy? I like creamy ice cream. I think everywhere's affected with, internet problems at the moment, and, of course, everyone's got their conspiracy theories. I think it's
Yeah.
just we live in a world where we're stuffed without the internet, and so when something does go wrong, we're all affected.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything conspiracy. It's just like I don't know. I don't know.
When it comes to conspiracies, the first thing you need to apply is okay, is this just from gross incompetence? And that's usually the case. That's usually where it
Yeah,
stops.
someone's like I said, someone's probably turned something off and gone, "Oh shit, it's going to reboot." Ah, frig, we haven't got the latest
It,
updates in, but you're like,
yeah, it was somebody's. It was something that was pushed out in a patch. I'm sure that was completely wrong. That was messed up, and it crashed everything. So that's the downside of like all of my computers. I have them set to manual updates, so it'll tell me when there's a new update.
confused.
But
Yeah,
it's my choice if I want to update it, like right now, kind of a thing. If you
yeah,
have
yeah.
automatic updates, that's how you get this stuff.
Well, that's what I have to go in and fix my settings because that's what happened to me. I didn't want to put in. It was all these new security type things. I'm like, "Oh, look, I've got Norton's, I don't need all that shit." And boom, it did it anyway. And it affects the running of the computer. I don't know. I don't know. I just reckon whatever you get, Just stop it. Oh yeah, that's right. The Olympics, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
Olympics
when's
in
that starting?
Paris.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
You might have a tough time getting in and out of there. If, it's still that's not going to be going on when you're there,
Oh,
right?
that'll be way finished by the time I get there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I do see, on the sometimes you see on the news, oh, riots in France, and I'm like, yeah, I think I'll be okay.
Yeah.
You know.
People riot in France if it's cloudy. That's like a national pastime for France. I think they riot all the time about stuff.
7 days, Tanya says. Olympics in
Oh,
7
sweet.
days. Yeah, I've heard a lot of time all those things crash, like, and what was I watching? Something about the amount of power it takes, or it's going to take now. I think it was Musk was talking about building a station. Someone was talking about needing to build some kind of power, like do something with power because it takes X amount of power to do the internet. And I don't know, I couldn't really, it was a bit over my head. And I'm like, oh, well, harness the sun. But nobody seems to want to. They want to do the nuclear thing. And I'm like,
Well, the thing with this, believe me, solar is great. I plan on putting solar panels on the van when I get that all set up. I can't go a show without mentioning the van at least once,
the band.
But that's my own meme now, talking about that stupid van. But anyways, of course, it only charges a battery, so you need to have a big battery bank and blah 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 blah. You know how solar power works. The thing is you can't use it everywhere. It's there's only a certain areas where it's useful, because you get someplace like in England where it rains all the time. It's not going to be as effective if like you live out in the desert, like where I was visiting, a few weeks back out in Arizona and places
Yeah.
like that. Then it's super efficient. That's great. That's where you want to be with solar power, because you can get a lot out of it.
Well, I still want to look into what the hell they were talking about with Tesla and that thing he invented. And I know he built a building and it burnt or something, but even Elon Musk has mentioned that something about like basically everybody could make it, and we could, but the idea has been so after I'm pretty sure it was Tesla's idea, and then it was there's some kind of gadget, some kind of thing you can do.
Was it one of the things that's been kicked around for a while now is micro reactors?
Could be. It was something that basically is as safe as houses, doesn't rely on anything.
Yeah,
and everybody and their dog could make it if they knew how, and power, like it'd power cities.
Yeah, it's probably a microreactor using molten salts versus something extremely, something that's super radioactive, like uranium or plutonium and stuff like that.
Whatever it is, you're not using. It could be that one. Whatever it is, you're not using uranium, coal, nothing like that.
The idea would be you have a molten salts reactor in each city, kind of an idea. So even if something catastrophic were to happen, a truck runs into or a plane crashes into or whatever it is, and it's not going to spread radioactive stuff all over. If it melts down, it's just going to shut off. You're not going to have electricity, but that's something that can be run, which for molten salts, probably every 10 or so years, they need to resupply it. So it's, and you can do it on small scale. So you don't, it wouldn't cover entire states like the giant nuclear reactors that they've built in the past. This is something
matter.
just
you can have one in every neighborhood. Just have one in every neighborhood.
It may, depending on what that was, depending on whatever the video was you saw with Musk, he came out and mentioned the other day, it was an offhand mention, but it was like, holy shit, he's actually 100% right. If everybody starts running their own AI, as part of their computer system, or to run their house or their car, or whatever, that's going to eat up more electricity. That's going to be more energy being used that everyone would be using eventually for everything. So you're going to have we need to come up with new power quickly for
we could just go back to keeping notebooks and paper records and writing letters. Imagine, well, I don't have to imagine. I lived through the lifetime where there was no such thing as internet. And, you know, I can't remember anything bad about it.
You're that person that's holding up the grocery store line writing a check, aren't you?
No, but I did have checks up until about 10 years ago. I would write a check, but never in a shop like that, like just to pay a bill or something.
The only reason I still have paper checks is the way that my water bill works is I have a meter that I have to read in my basement and report in on that. And the only way they have it set up is to actually send in a check every month for my water bill. Since it's my own thing for some reason. I don't know why I'd much rather there be a meter that tells them what it is and I don't have to mess with it. It's the only reason I have stamps. It's the only reason I have to put something in the mailbox to go to them.
Well, Maisie, if you really want ice cream, you can get in a taxi cab and go to the cafe tomorrow and try it out. You go there just on your own. You probably have to pay like $60 to get into the castle.
Yeah. Should do a little reconnaissance, find out what's good, what's worth getting.
This is crocheting a set of washcloths for her son's boyfriend's mum. There you go. Washcloths. Crocheting them. Oh, just like around the edges of the washcloth. My nan used to do that. Used to have pretty things when my nana crocheted. The little shell stitch around the edges. Oh. Yep. What are we going to talk about tomorrow, Enzo?
I'll fish up a video of the meteorite that went over top of New York. Talk a little bit more about the upcoming. Well, obviously it's here. Meteor shower. I think there's a couple other things I can pull up. Saw an interesting interview with some guys, some engineers in Long Island that. I've already bought the book that they put out about all the gadgetry that they put on top of an old RV to detect UFOs. Ooh. And they were successful with it. So,
what, they detected a UFO?
Several, many times. I'll tell the story tomorrow of them trying to signal it and how that turned out.
It
wasn't good.
Well, I reckon. What do you reckon, guys? We've gone the gamut. We've pissed a couple of people off earlier.
Yeah, we've chased a few off, I imagine.
Yeah, had to sort of say stop it. But yeah, so the mystery continues on the other front. I'll be watching to see what unfolds there. And tonight I'm going to work on another little video, the one I put out on. If you haven't seen it, I just 4 minutes or something. I put it up. I thought I'll get little fact videos, like just 3 or 4 minutes, just the facts. So I put out one the other day on Mrs. and Mr. Mackey, where they lived. So I managed to find a photograph of their house before it burnt down. So I put that in there. I couldn't find, there's the house that their son lived in, which is massive. It's like a friggin' castle. But yeah, I just thought I'll put out little fact videos. So I'm going to do another one. I've been trying to think if I should try and do a cartoonish type one on the love story of Mr. and Mrs. Mackey, but draw like cartoons. We'll see how I go. But then I'd have to do voices like, "Oh, Mr. Mackey," and then it'd be, "Wow, Miss, whatever her name was. What was it? Started with H." Like, "Howdy, ma'am." I can't do a voice. I could get you to do the voices of the boys. Oh, dear. So, yeah, I'm going to chuff off now and get some lunch. It is 20 to 1 here. And I'll go grab some lunch. But Enzo will be back with me tomorrow for our usual natter. I'll go and check my subscriber count. I'm sure I could have lost quite a few just before.
Yeah, there's folks a little upset.
Doesn't matter. Can't say nasty things in the chat. All right, it's not. I don't like it. I just don't. I just, I think like my nana used to say, if you've got nothing nice to say nothing. Like, just keep it to yourself. You know. So that's my opinion as well. Um,
We like
here we
these
go.
happy girls behind me dancing away. Just
Oh, she is too. Gee, some of them need to pull their tops up a bit.
hey, it's
Goodness.
Friday night in the islands. You got to.
Oh, my daughter came out the other day. She brought herself a
Oh,
new top, and she put it on, and it was just a little bit low cut, And I went, you're not going out in that, are you? Like, she's 22. And she's like, "You're not going out in that, are you?" And she's like, "What do you mean?" And I said, a bit booby-ish. I said, "Put a jumper on." And she's like, "Oh." I do see, I'm going to go, but I do see young girls here, particularly in the warmer months, walk around in what looks like just their bra. Like, they're just walking around in a bra with some tight skin. I'm like, what is going on? Like, that's, it's too
sounds
much.
outlandish. You should take pictures of these
Oh, I think
views
it's time
and
to
send
name
them
and
to
shame
me so I can.
young
Yeah.
hussies. These young hussies. Oh, dear. Ostrich and Oscar the ostrich, Helen and the car wash. Oh, yes, that's right, with the feather. Oscar the ostrich. A bit boobyish, yes, Oh, dear. All right, guys, we'll see you tomorrow. And thanks for joining me today, Enzo. And just remember, just be nice to everybody and try and stay away from icky things and just look at things for mysteries and who did it. And I don't know, there has to be something good we can look at instead of whatever. But yeah, I feel so much better now. That's what I said that when I come on like here and just check on him and say, we know Maisie's going all right. She just needs more iron. I know Julie's keep on keeping on, so I know that everybody is doing better and some aren't, but we're all here. So tomorrow we'll have another go and we'll talk about different things and I'll talk about the stuff I'm putting together and we'll have a bit of fun. All right. That's it. I'll go and we'll be back. Same bat channel, same bat time tomorrow, roughly. Maybe a bit earlier. I think I put earlier. Hasta mañana, Dr. Deb. See you later. Bye, and thanks for coming in.